time, baby.
We've been waiting for this for months now, and I'm so relieved to be here with the Matt Harris.
Oh, shucks. Thank God I'm the Matt Harris. You don't want any more of these people walking around.
The one and only.
I'm excited tonight. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this. This is fabulous.
Thanks for coming. We have a lot of work to do, though.
We do.
It's gonna be fun, but it's gonna be work.
Explain why you're here and what everybody's here for.
Okay. Well, most probably people tuning in this early know our story, know about my Ren. My daughter Ren was diagnosed with leukemia, a very high-risk leukemia, when she was 3 years old. It was devastating. It really caught us off guard. We had no idea, but pretty early on, I knew that we needed to do something about this. So she fought for 2.5 years through harsh chemos into her port, into her spine to wash her little brain, shots into her legs, tons and tons of blood work. And even with that, we still had to have 10 rounds of radiation to her 4-year-old brain. That was hard, okay, but I got to keep my daughter. We were very lucky. In December of 2018, she rang the bell. And there isn't a day that goes by that we aren't incredibly lucky to have her. We've had some friends that we've lost along the way. We have some friends still battling, and we have friends who are probably yet to be diagnosed. And that is why we are here today, to raise money for them. I need to know that this isn't going to come back for my daughter, and I need to know that we are doing everything we can for those friends who are still fighting.
When you, like everybody, you had no idea of anything about lymphoma or leukemia or anything else before it happens to you.
Absolutely not.
It just
no.
blows your world apart. But then you turn that into this positive thing that we're doing tonight.
I hope so. I mean, it helps me reconcile what happened to my daughter. We didn't see it coming. We were living our life. She had never even been on antibiotics before. She was perfectly healthy until one day she was not. Pediatric cancer is not as rare as we'd like to think it is. I was a nurse and had no idea how many children in our country were impacted.
And funding for the pediatric cancers and the blood cancers, et cetera, leukemia, lymphoma, is not what it should be. And that's a tragedy. But a lot of things are in the pipeline.
Yes.
So it's a matter of getting money to get that pipeline flowing.
And that's why we're here. Pediatric cancer is only funded at 4% on a federal level, which is absolutely abysmal. The majority of pediatric cancer research funds are raised privately, doing things just like this.
Yes, and we got a match out of the gate, do we not?
We do.
Yeah.
Bice Law Firm right here in Fort Mill, South Carolina, has honored us by matching the first $1,000 that we get. So let's see how quickly we can get to $1,000.
All right.
So thank you, Bice Law Firm. They also, a few months ago during Girl Scout cookie season, bought a ton of Girl Scout cookies from Ren. So we're already really good friends with Bice Law Firm.
Yes.
So thank you. For any of your legal needs, please check them out. But right now, let's get to $1,000 as quick as we can.
Yes. Open up the checkbook, even though you don't do that anymore. Who the heck is opening a checkbook anymore?
We'll take it all. I'll take
Open up your Venmo. What are you saying now? Scan it, get Bitcoin, anything.
I will accept anything. If somebody explains to me how to get Bitcoin, I will accept it. I don't know what to do with Dogecoin. No, but I'll take it.
Over our heads.
Figure it out. We will figure it out.
We are going to talk to a lot of people today, a lot of families. We're going to talk to doctors. We're going to do all kinds of stories for you that are going to really guaranteed to make you hit the Venmo button. And we will start with a doctor that you have dealt with before and unfortunately have dealt with before. Explain who we're going to talk to right now.
Okay, we're going to see a story about how CAR T therapy came about. And the reason why CAR T therapy came into our life is because when the radiation oncologist sat us down to talk to us about prognosis for our 3-year-old and to give her the best chance for survival, my husband needed to know, what's the end game? What if this doesn't work? And he said, what we would hope is that we could do CAR T therapy for her. I didn't think about it. I was thinking about my daughter. Flash forward to when I got involved with the LLS and found out that the LLS actually funded CAR T therapy 10 years ago when no one else would. So that cure, potentially for my daughter, hopefully she doesn't ever need it, is already there. We have a plan if the worst were to happen again. And so this is the doctor. I'd love for you to check out his story now.
Doug Olson was our second patient that we ever treated with what has become Kymriah. This was a trial that was, a pilot trial to test, what we call first in human. So these kind of CAR T cells had never been given to humans. Doug had been treated here for many years, and he had been progressing on many kinds of both standard therapy and then experimental therapy. He was considered incurable at that point. I'll never forget what happened when he went through the CAR treatment. He was told that he was in remission, He and his wife got in the car and they drove down to Annapolis and he bought a boat. He thought he was dying, so he basically started his life over.
After my CAR-T therapy, and it was probably just about a year after that, I had never met Dr. June. I'd heard about him, that he was the genius that had figured out how to teach white cells to kill cancer. I contacted him and said I'd like to meet him. If I had to come up with one word to describe Dr. June, it's pretty hard. English doesn't have a word that embodies everything that Dr. June is. Humble, certainly, is one of them. Kind, caring, compassionate. Those are all things that define the person I know as Carl June.
I think probably the best reward for me has been to get to know some of these patients. We've had some reunions now where the children come back. And it's, you get to know both their families and the kids and watch them grow. So that is a huge privilege. I've been fortunate to have continuous funding from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society since 2004. And that led to FDA approval of Kymriah in 2017. And now, most recently, we have a new major grant from the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society to make what we call CD38 CARs. And we'll be treating many kinds of blood cancer with those. There's probably no better example of the role of philanthropy in promoting cancer research than in the case of CAR T cells. So when you have an out-of-the-box idea, the traditional funding, which in the United States is the National Cancer Institute, they're very cautious about that, especially if they haven't worked in the past. It's fair to say that without the involvement of the donors and the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, that we would not have CAR T cells.
Without those funds, I wouldn't be sitting here. It's that simple.
All right, time to donate. That's an amazing story. And what we haven't mentioned, because she's just so modest, every dollar is a vote for this young lady to be, da-da-da,
The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society's Woman of the Year.
See, it just rolled off her tongue because she knows that she is relentless at fundraising, and every dollar is a vote, and you want a certain number you're looking to get to tonight.
Oh, tonight?
Overall.
Okay, tonight would be amazing too, but my goal is $430,005. I've had 10 weeks to do it. I'm down to 2 weeks, so you guys could help me get there tonight.
Why is it 430 and 5?
$430,005 is significant for the 43 children a day who are diagnosed with pediatric cancer and the 5 children a day who pass away from pediatric cancer.
5. It's insane. 5 a day pass away because of the hope that we have of raising funds. That number will hopefully be a lot smaller in another 5 years, 10 years, etc.
Yes.
So, hey, Matt and Ramona listeners, you cheapskates, start hitting that Venmo, or I'm coming through the darn screen.
Ren's Village. I mean, maybe we could compete against Matt and Ramona and Ren's Village. Ren's Village shows up.
Woo.
Shows up.
Yes, okay. I'm counting on you, Matt and Ramona folks, to do this for us. We have got a lot of people are going to be talking today, so we're going to keep on moving that. But we also have people can bid on some things.
Yes, soon.
Okay.
But right now.
Okay, soon.
One of the things they're going to be
That's coming
excited
up.
about, some people are probably tuning in just to find out about the Blanton's Bourbon Collection. We have a chance to win. We will be drawing tonight at 7:30 p.m. The Blanton's is on display right here.
There you go.
Not letting anyone touch it.
That's why there's plastic over it, because she knew I was coming to the party.
And compliments of Southern Spirits. So they were an amazing supporter of mine. They donated this Blanton collection. Now, every lid has a racehorse in its full stride.
Is that a racehorse?
This is what they do.
Wow.
And so the little stoppers spell Blanton. So this is a pretty special thing. Go to brandisbelievers.com. You can donate there, but you can also find out about Blanton's Bourbon and how you can win this tonight.
Now, everybody share all this stuff to all your various social media sites, so people that can't see it, will know that it's going on and maybe check in through the next hour and 45 minutes, whatever it is.
We'll give some things away. I need you to do a watch party. Invite everybody you know. I mean, what else are you doing on a Friday night?
Yes, right. Yes, this has to be it. Now let's head to another one of our interviews.
Okay, and like I'm not a professional, but the guys around me are. But you know, we might make some mistakes. I might make some mistakes. Just give us some grace. We're doing great over here. Where are we going?
Do you listen to the show that I do? I make mistakes all the time. That's a story of my life. That keeps it interesting.
Okay, so the Children's Initiative is something that we're going to be really hammering home tonight. The Children's Initiative is a multi-year, $100 million initiative from the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. Finally, a large foundation is prioritizing pediatric cancer. It's important because it's $100 million, which is huge, and also it's the first collaboration of its kind. So I want you guys to hear from Julie, who is Zach's mom. We're going to play her video now and just kind of see the genesis of how this Children's Initiative came about. She's a champion. She's incredible. She is a force and an inspiration to all of us.
My name is Julie Guillot. I'm a childhood leukemia mom. I'm a volunteer, and I have a very strong desire to do what I can to help speed promising new therapies to kids fighting leukemia. You know, we were just a normal family. My son really began developing some very strange symptoms. He was only 5 years old. He had a headache every single day. I took him to the doctor 3 times that week. They called me and said, Zach has leukemia, you need to go to the hospital now. And it was like somebody took their fist and just punched me in the gut. I didn't understand how dangerous it was, but I was scared. Zach would struggle with these 105-degree fevers that would last for an entire day. Nothing could bring it down. Hours-long nosebleeds. You know, his skin was burned from the chemo from the inside out. A few weeks after his 3rd transplant, he died in ICU on a ventilator. His liver just couldn't take it anymore. I mean, there's no feeling in the world like leaving the hospital without your child. And I remember distinctly walking down the hall, and I was looking at the floor, and I said to myself, this is not over. Therapies today are these one-size-fits-all. We can actually drive advancements in everybody across all age groups and across all cancers. We're building the right combination of therapies matched to the right kid. It takes a lot of money to unravel that and figure that out, and it is underfunded today. Your support tonight is going to help fuel this and other incredible initiatives that the LLS is involved in. He told me at one point, but Mom, I want to live. And we did everything that we could to help him live. And at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. And that's why we have to do more. We have to do better.
And leukemia, if you're watching this, you're going down!
That didn't move you to get us some money, then I'm not sure what will, but a lot of things will as we go through the course of this evening. Again, reminding you, we are raising money for this woman and for all of the kids who need help through the, she wants to be Woman of the Year, $1 a vote for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. So make those donations now and help. Now, we're getting to that $1,000. That's
Are we there yet?
That's where we want to get to.
We're not at $1,000 yet, but I would love to be before we get back from this next video because it's pretty important. And I should say, and I should have said it earlier, this is much more than a title for me, right? It's personal. Like I just said, like cancer tried to take my daughter. I will keep fighting until it can't come back and get her.
Come here, Ren.
This is my girl.
Come on, come on, come on. We keep talking about you like you're this mystery woman.
She's wearing her sequins this evening.
Whoa, I'm being blinded.
Very shimmy, shimmy, shake.
Yeah.
So this is much more than a title for me. Again, I'm fighting for my daughter. I'm fighting as hard as she did against cancer. I'm fighting for our friends. who are still battling, our friends that we've lost along the way. And I'm not going to stop until cancer is no more. So we can call it Woman of the Year, but it really is just me being a voice for these incredible people that are cancer parents.
And you get to color in the thermometer hopefully soon.
Yeah, y'all.
Do you have your little marker?
Job. She's ready to color. So
Yeah.
let's get $1,000.
Yeah, get that red marker. Get it going.
So we're going to get her coloring, but I do want to really. Oh, there she is.
There's some more colors.
We had to find some more red markers. We really just want to fully tell you the story of what the Children's Initiative is. So you heard from Julie. Now you're going to hear a little bit more technical. Whoa. Where did the Children's Initiative come from, what it is, and how the LLS is doing it. So I'm going to throw it over to Dwayne so he can get that video going for us.
What we're trying to do here with LLS Pedal is to do something that's never been done before, and that's to match the child to a trial almost in real time. You could imagine a child coming in with relapsed leukemia and to be able to figure out within 24, 48 hours a new therapy to put that child on and to get that therapy started. That's never been done before.
We've been using the same drugs for the last 40 to 50 years. These are drugs that have been designed primarily for adult cancers, and we've been using them in kids to improve outcomes. And we've probably gotten as much mileage out of them as we can. For many of these types of leukemias that we're treating, we've pushed the limit of toxicity as far as we can. If we're going to make new progress, we need new therapies.
With this initiative, if we are successful, we can bring in massive number of pediatric leukemia patients to answer questions in a few short years rather than decades. And the fact that we have failed to do that really requires for us to change the way we're thinking and change the paradigm.
Pediatric leukemia is actually different from adult leukemia. So the changes that we see in the leukemia cells at the level of the genes are actually quite different from those seen in adult leukemias. So it's really important to actually focus research specifically on childhood leukemias, both acute myeloid leukemia as well as acute lymphoblastic leukemia. I am so excited that the Leukemia Lymphoma Society is going to support a next generation clinical trial very similar to the adult BEAT AML trial. This trial is actually going to enable a master trial for children with AML and other high-risk leukemias. So as part of this study, really for the very first time, we're going to be able to sequence the gene changes in a child's leukemia and then match those gene changes to drugs in a series of clinical studies.
Without LLS's backing, we could never even dream of a project like this because this is a huge initiative that's going to require data from lots of different sources and an enormous infrastructure, the likes of which we've never seen before.
I have never been this optimistic as I stand here today. We can do this.
Whew, there we go again. Tugging at the heartstrings because we need your help. And this is just amazing, the stories we're going to hear today, and amazing the strength of moms like Brandy and dads and the whole family. I mean, I've talked to families before, the other siblings. It's just a world of hurt and pain that everybody goes through, and we want to stop that pain the best we can and get the right medications and get some of these medicines and treatments that are in the pipeline, which is a crazy thing. They're just sitting there, but the funding to get the testing is not quite there.
It's not really a science problem anymore. We have the science. What we don't have is the funding. And it does happen to the entire family. And it just keeps happening over and over and over again. The drugs that we are using, like the drugs that we used for my daughter, are 40, 50 years old.
Wow.
Only 4 drugs have been developed for pediatrics specifically since I was born in 1980.
Wow.
4 drugs. And so it's time, and of course ultimately we want a cure, but in the meantime, can we get more effective and targeted drugs for our children? Develop more drugs for our children, like less incentivize pharmaceutical companies, let's get on to Washington and have some policy change.
And I found out through talking to doctors and things like that, the research that's been happening has helped other cancers too, because anytime you're funding something, it's looking at all different possibilities, and it's creating tools for a big toolkit for the doctor to make it specific for that child. Because right now they kind of just throwing what sticks.
And we need less toxic, more effective drugs for our kids. And like I said, we've developed 4 drugs for pediatrics specifically since 1980. But I'm probably going to mess up the statistic, but the LLS has gotten FDA approval. I might be wrong. 65 of the last 71 drugs to get FDA approval have been funded by the LLS.
That's where the funding comes from, is people like you.
And it's incredible. So I want to keep doing that, but we really need to change the focus and prioritize pediatric cancer. Now, the drugs that the LLS has funded has found applicability, like you said, into brain cancers, breast cancer, pancreatic cancer, stomach cancers, as well as put multiple sclerosis and diabetes into remission.
Wow.
So they have found broad range of treatments from these drugs. So I love that.
Yes, share this, by the way.
But I love it,
Yeah.
but I also we need to prioritize pediatric cancer drugs.
Even $5 works. $5 petri dish, $5 a test tube. There you go. $100 donation.
Thank you, Christy. $100.
Yes, Christy rules.
Tell all your friends how amazing you are.
Yes,
And
yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I want to be shouting out more names, so
Can I?
I'm going to give you one of these and one of these if you don't. Okay.
We'll shout out pretty much.
much.
But listen, I will shout out pretty much whatever you want. So
All right.
whatever name, like
Yes.
whatever you want. Let's
Whatever
just send
words
some
you want
money.
us to say.
We'll say it.
We'll say.
Tracy wants to let you know you are moving mountains, friends.
Yes.
Thank you.
You are.
Okay, so our next thing, like I said, we have 43 children a day who are diagnosed. I want to show you a few of their faces right now.
Wow.
Yes.
That is a big wow. That is a hit the Venmo and send money wow right
But here's
there.
what I need you to know about all of those faces. Those are all of our friends. Those are local cancer kids. And the reality that hits me every single time I see it is that that's my little girl there. Ren was the one in the Clemson gear, of course, because we're huge Clemson Tiger fans. But it is a huge reality check for me every single time I do something like this to realize, like, that's my daughter. Like, my daughter was one of 43 children diagnosed on that day. And it never is not raw for me. So that's why we're here. And then I do have another thing to show you, but I wanted to check in and see if we got any donations.
I think you did. Did we get to, did you say Catherine? Is that right?
My hands are sweaty.
Yes.
$100 just came from Catherine.
Catherine. Catherine. Hey, if you donate, I won't dance anymore.
I'll do the rib.
It's all we got to offer as far as dancing goes.
$100 from Andrea.
Andrea, keep it coming, people.
I love it. I love it.
And if you're watching this, share it. Make sure you share with all your friends, because not everybody can be in front of their computer, their Facebook, whatever right now. So share and let people know.
Text them. Let them know. You just
Yes.
gave $100.
Yes.
So you're saving lives today. So I appreciate that so much. Are we good on this? We
Yes.
ready?
Yes,
Okay.
they're coming in.
Thank you. Please keep doing it. So the next thing I really want to show you is heartbreaking. This is Harlan, and he was 3 years old. This is Noah, and he was 19 years old. This is Isabella, and she is forever 7. This is Owen, and he's 9. And this is Mikey, and he was 3.5 years old. Mikey is pretty special to me, and I'm bringing his mom here for you to tell his story. Mikey was special to us, and I unfortunately went to his funeral in February of 2020, right before we all got locked down on COVID. And Jess and I were in a mom's support group together. So we have poured our hearts out to each other, along with some of our other cancer moms, over and over again, complained about people, compared notes, and shared all of our deepest fears and our milestones and joys along the way. So Mikey was probably the first little boy that we lost that was pretty impactful for us. There's no reason why I got to keep my Ren and she had to bury her Mikey. So I wanted her to come here today to give her her story, because Mikey's life mattered, and he only got to be here for 3.5 years, but we're here now to keep more kids here, so we don't have any more Mikeys. So I kind of created this hashtag called More for Mikey, because Mikey deserved more. Mikey deserved more birthdays. They deserved more celebrations and more years. He deserved to go to kindergarten. He deserved to do all the things that my little girl is now getting to do. But I want you to really hear about his life and how impactful he was when he was here, from the one who loved him the most, and that was his mom, Jessica.
Hi.
Hi,
Thank
babe.
you for having me.
It's good to see you.
I think actually right after Mikey was diagnosed in August of 2017 is when Oncology started. And I started right at the beginning of our journey. Which
I think you walked over from the hospital one time to join us. We always met in clinic. So
yeah. Many times I walked over from the hospital. So he was diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia at 11 months old. It was a week before his first birthday. Acute myeloid leukemia, AML, is a very aggressive form of childhood cancer. It's hard to say. It hits fast, and you have to use very hard chemos on it. So we spent 5 months in the hospital for about a month at a time, and that time it feels like so long ago. But he was in remission after that. He learned to walk with a catheter in and an IV pole trailing behind him. Resilience. I think these kids are resilient, and that's what he showed me in that time. But he was in remission. We thought it was good. We thought the dark days were behind us, and then before we knew it, 16 months I think had passed by that point, and
we were working on Light the Night.
Yes.
We were together on like a Wednesday or Tuesday. We were together.
I was interning at LS here in Charlotte. And yes, so we were working on that, pulling it all together, creating a whole new team of moms and families.
To raise money for the LLS.
And right in the middle of all of that, he relapsed. His cancer came on much harder the second time, which happens. Usually it's much worse the second time around. His white count went up, double, tripled in a night. He was on oxygen. He was out of it for about 2-ish weeks, and we knew this battle was going to be worse. So what most people don't realize is that for relapse with a lot of these cancers is they don't have treatments. They have a protocol, but it's not a truly tested and
It's a guessing game. Throwing everything at it the second time to see what works. Like throw all the noodles at the wall and see what sticks.
Exactly. And he ended up going to remission, but then he turned around and he relapsed. But this time the blood tumor turned into a solid tumor through his entire body. And
he's how old at this point?
He had just turned 3, literally. We were getting him ready for a bone marrow transplant, which is truly the only way for a lot of these blood cancers to even be cured is transplants usually.
And the bone marrow transplant takes them down to 0. You give them heavy hitting chemo that wipes out their own bone marrow. So you are taking them down to 0. They have no bone marrow, they have no immune system whatsoever, and that's why they're kept in a bubble in the hospital for how long? As long as it takes, but it's...
For us, he was very unique. This is my child, he's unique.
He kept throwing curveballs,
yes,
for sure.
He responded to treatment, but it didn't keep him down for very long. And that was the problem, is that in order to get rid of the chloromas, we had to give him the hardest chemo possible, which affects the heart, and it was the max dose he'd be able to get in an entire lifetime, and he's only 3. And it worked. It worked. Great. It was a study that was being done to test some new drugs or drugs that are already on the market, but to test their dose. And it worked, and it got him to a transplant, and we were in the hospital the entire time. We didn't go home. He stayed there for a very long time. I think we left on day 139, I believe it was, and that was just a straight admission. And he did get a transplant on December 6th.
A transplant is when they give someone else's bone marrow cells.
Yes. So
to regrow his.
It's like a bag of blood.
Marrow. Yeah.
It's just a bag of blood that goes in. They know exactly where to go. They go straight to the bone marrow and do their thing, and it's like a little seed. And he was doing good. I mean, he had complications. He had a lot of GVHD, which is when the new cells attack the body. So the new immune system doesn't understand or recognize.
It thinks it's foreign.
The old one.
Right.
So he had like skin rash. He had gut problems. But generally he was doing fine. His cancer was gone. I mean, once again, his cancer is gone. And his immune system was doing its job. But then about 2 weeks after we left the hospital.
So they went home for 2 weeks.
Yep, we left day 139, and we ended up coming right back. His cells were coming back, which meant his cancer was coming back. That's what you don't want. And once again, it was bad, and we ended up in the PICU because not only was his cancer coming back, but the toxicity of the treatments and the amount of chemo he received, and the way that a transplant works and how hard it is on the body, it caused his intestines to inflame. And that only happens in babies or very old individuals. It doesn't happen. That's not a normal side effect, but that's what these drugs do when you just throw high doses at kids. And he ended up going on a ventilator in the PICU. While his cancer raged out of control, we couldn't give him much of anything. I mean, his stomach couldn't take anything. his body couldn't take anything because of his gut. Basically, his gut was like tissue paper, so it could break apart at any moment. And so anything you did to his body would affect that, and that would for sure have taken him at that moment. So we watched him, we waited, we had a lot of little wins. I mean, you're watching.
It was like hour by hour, it
Yeah.
seems, where something would that we could celebrate, the
Mhm.
little wins, and then it would be a setback, and then a win, and then a setback.
Which I guess is the PICU, right? That's what it is. And unfortunately, he, after 2 weeks of that, his body just couldn't take it anymore. What happens when you naturally fight cancer is your body inflames. It tries to get rid of the cancer cells that it's actually fighting, because his body was fighting, it was working. And it wasn't able to get rid of them, so he got bigger, and he just retained probably triple his body weight of fluid, and he looked probably like a 7-year-old as a 3.5-year-old. It came down to my husband and I making probably the worst choice. Actually, just the worst choice. It wasn't how to save him, it was the best way for him to die. And sorry.
So you had to make the choice.
Yeah, and we chose to take the ventilator out, and that it was just better that way, to not have him suffering and retaining so much fluid. And so within the next day, we actually ended up doing it from when we had that decision to make, and he passed and almost instantly. He stopped breathing, and there's too much weight in his body to continue. And that's just, I hope that I can help the progress of science, because having a parent to make that choice, I mean, it's not even about if your child's gonna live anymore, it's about how they're gonna die, how best to die. A child who hasn't even lived yet. And that's where our treatment is. We don't have the drugs to address the complications in the treatment, and we don't have the drugs to actually target the cancer. And the big thing with AML is that people don't understand it. Scientists will give you a statistic. I think it's like 70% survival for AML for pediatrics. But the leading oncologist for AML states that it's really 50-50 because they don't understand it enough to actually do anything that's long lasting. And that's for a 5-year survival rate. That's not even for a lifetime.
5 years. They give you 5 years.
Because everything's 5.
So now we fund research. And Jessica just graduated with her master's. Bachelor's, sorry. I meant to say honors. Pretty much.
Yes.
We're going to call it honors because it was skin of the teeth.
I got my bachelor's in public health, and then I'm working on going back for a master's in clinical and translational research right now. So
that's her passion, so not only is she telling her story to raise money for kids like Mikey with AML, which is even severely underfunded overall, and so now she's going to be, grassroots changing things. So it's incredible to have you as a partner, and to be able to come and do this, because I know we've been locked down with COVID. Like we've not seen each other. We have not been able to even process. Like I think we've seen each other once since the memorial. So I love that you came here and to help me, because she knows, Jessica knows, and all of my cancer mom friends know, like this is really for them. That I'm just being a voice for these amazing people that have come into my life. And we are in a terrible club, and we say it all the time. I think Ray is the first person that said that to me, is like, we're in this terrible club. I wish I would have met you in like PTO or something like that. But we have each other's back all the time. And there are things that we understand and communicate with each other that no other parent will ever understand until you've been faced with something like that with your kids. And when we lose one, we all lose one. Okay, like it obviously it just didn't happen to you. It happened to all of us. Like we feel betrayed by everything we're trying to do to end this. So thank you guys for listening and letting Jessica tell her story. And her and Justin are doing everything they can to move forward, and she's going to do something about it, and we're going to give her the money to do it for when she's in those clinical trials, right?
Yes.
We're going to be funding trials that you're going to be working on. Like, I think that would be incredible. And what I always want to say, like, Mikey's life mattered. In his 3.5 years, he mattered. So let's get up. Let's make some money, and let's show Jessica how much Mikey meant to all of us. For sure.
You guys are amazing people, absolutely amazing, that you've turned what was an awful situation into something that we're doing tonight, which is going to help people like you, moms down the road, not have to do this. 10 years ago, there were some moms who did some fundraising, and it helped what it could with your kids, and now you're doing an amazing thing. So if you heard that story and you're not donating, I don't know what's happening with you. So you hit that Venmo, do that, and we will continue through the course of this. Donate, share. We've got our goal tonight is
whatever we can make. Let's say $430,005. Like, can we raise that tonight? I don't know, but I'm going to try.
You're going to do it.
What else are we going to do? Watch Matt dance, I guess.
No, you don't want that. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. Thank you so much. It's amazing that you're courageous to share that story. We will continue to talk to families and mothers and fathers and others
tell
their story.
It's important. I would love to be able to give Jessica money for her research that's coming.
Yes.
That's like, can we do that? So one of our amazing, we actually shared an oncologist. So Dr. Kaplan took care of Mikey for a while. No, it's okay. I'm pointing at Jessica.
It's just like, hey,
unless you want to tell a funny story.
Kaplan.
So Dr. Kaplan, he's one of our leukemia oncologists. Now, they did get transferred over to what they call bone marrow and that sort of thing. But Dr. Kaplan actually took care of both of our children. And he's a very busy man. He does research on his own, but we were able to get him to sit down with Matt for an interview on Zoom. So we're going to hear from Dr. Kaplan, and we really love him so much. Like, our oncologists and our nurses and the whole team really become a part of our family. Like, when Ren was battling, I was pregnant with Stella. Like, they watched Stella grow and be bored and then come back, and they all know her, they know our families, and Dr. Kaplan was like a part of y'all's family. And I remember Dr. Hua. I know, and I know he's really Hua. Sorry, Dr. Hua.
You got it.
Who is incredible as well. Became like a part of y'all's family.
Yes, we towards the end there, he was our main, and he does a lot of research himself, and I think he's getting back into it now. So
that's awesome.
I mean,
we have some really smart people right here in Charlotte at Levine Children's. So shout out to LCH, and let's hear from Dr. Kaplan.
Yes.
Hit it, Dwayne.
Dr. Joel Kaplan joins us from Atrium. Pediatric Oncology is why he's here, because that's what we're doing tonight with this telethon, raising funds for Leukemia Lymphoma Society. You've heard us talk to a bunch of families tonight through the course of that. Dr. Kaplan, explain where we stand on, how long have you been pediatric oncology?
About 17 years now.
Okay, so where were we, let's say 10 years ago, and where are we now as far as treating a lot of these different cancers in children?
Yeah, I think the biggest change in the 10 years has been, the change from chemotherapy, the drugs that we kind of think about when we treat people with cancer in general, to adding things called immunotherapy. So drugs that use the body's own immune system to fight cancer. And what's very interesting about those drugs is that they're targeted. Chemotherapy, unfortunately, isn't targeted always just at the cancer, so it causes lots of side effects. But these medicines that the Leukemia Lymphoma Society has helped fund are targeted at the cancer themselves, so they work really well. And then there's less side effects because it doesn't affect other systems in the body. So
that's not possible without, funding for these diseases that these cancers is not what we would hope it would be. Is it part of it because it's it's rare? That's hard to tell somebody whose kid has it that it's rare. But is it that one of the reasons the funding isn't quite what we'd like it to be?
Yeah, I think, we sometimes call them orphan diseases. So what we mean by orphan diseases is that, like, you don't have a lot of, you don't hear about them as much.
Right.
Like if you have like breast cancer or colon cancer, things that are much more heart disease, things that we see all the time. But in pediatrics, fortunately, these diseases don't happen often, but when they do, they can be very devastating to families. So we call them orphan diseases, so they don't get the kind of attention and money that other diseases might get. And that's the important part of the Leukemia Lymphoma Society is these treatments I just talked about are crazy expensive. There's no other way to put it. And the research to get to where they can come to the patient is very, very, very expensive and requires lots of different people involved to get a drug like that to market. So this type of research is very important.
Like because you just have funding for the R&D, and then you got to have funding to get that drug mass produced so
Right.
it can get to families, because it's financially crushing for them. And I'm also would assume that as the medications get more effective and better, the kids won't have to take however many pills a day and however many blasts of chemo or
Yeah.
whatnot, right?
Yeah, I think in the future, especially in the future, we're learning kind of because these drugs are new. How do we like integrate them into the therapies we already have? And so I think in the future, what's going to happen is these medicines will replace a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. A lot of the medicines that have more side effects or require taking lots of pills all the time that leukemia patients are required to do. I think in the future, we're going to replace a lot of that with these targeted agents.
The way it works now, to give people kind of an idea, not necessarily on every kid's different, obviously,
Right.
but what the kid goes through or a child goes through right now is hell on earth sometimes. Explain what kind of things some kids have to go through.
So I think, the most common disease in children that we see is a thing called acute lymphoblastic leukemia. That's about 85% of all leukemias in children, and it's the most common childhood cancer overall. And so there's definitely some shared experiences that all children with that disease go through. And I think one big one is just obviously the shock of getting diagnosed, that the family, they hear that word leukemia and it's devastating and shocking. The positive thing is that nowadays we can tell families that this is an extremely curable disease. And so we kind of reiterate that up front that, yes, this is a devastating diagnosis, but we're going to be able to get to cure in a very large majority of patients. So, but there's a lot of work to do in between. And so there's long hospitalizations. There's procedures. Children, when they first get diagnosed, have to get what's called a port. It's a central line that's put in by surgery. It's basically, think of it as a big IV that stays in your body. And we have to use this port to safely give the medications we need to treat the cancer.
They put that in like somewhere up here and it stays in, right? So that way they don't have to keep putting it in. Yeah.
Yeah, it stays in. And there's nothing like hanging out, but there is like a bubble on the skin here. And every time we need to use it, like draw labs or give medicines, the nurses put some numbing cream over that area, and then they have to use a small needle and they go into that bubble area of the port. It's called accessing the port. So every time we treat children, we have to do that. And then they come to clinic visits in the beginning, once a week, sometimes twice a week. And the other, I think, so they're getting chemotherapy every week or so. Eventually, it bases out to every month or so where they're coming in to see us. And then I think one of the most difficult things that kids go through is we have to give medicine to prevent the leukemia from relapsing, coming back in the fluid that surrounds the brain and spinal cord. It's called cerebral spinal fluid. And the way we do that is we do spinal taps. You might have heard of people getting spinal taps or lumbar punctures.
Very painful.
The kids go to sleep, but they require anesthesia, and we give a small amount of chemotherapy through when we do that spinal tap. Once the needle's in, we give a small amount of chemotherapy into that fluid to prevent that from happening. And we do that on, like, a kid with leukemia goes through that in the course of about 2 years of treatment, has about 11 or 12 lumbar punctures. And so that's a lot. we make it with child life and things like that as comfortable for the kids and the families as possible. But it's a difficult process.
Not to mention that you're aware of this because of the incredible headaches and blurred vision and things like that that the child's suffering from, right?
So thankfully we don't see a lot of side effects from it.
Okay.
So
like before you get to that stage when they discover maybe.
Yeah. So before that can happen, and most kids don't have any like disease in that area up front. But if you don't do something to prevent it, half the kids will relapse in that area later on. So it's like a preventative thing.
Right. And like we said, every kid's, a lot of kids are different. The majority happens, but then, and to tailor the medication, the procedures and everything to an individual kid is one of the things that research helps figure out, correct?
Correct. And these clinical trials or research studies, so like you're exactly right. It's not a one size fits all. Even though it's called ALL is the most common thing, there's different types of ALL and there's different treatments based on like all these different factors, the age, how well the child responds to treatment, what their white blood cell count was when they were diagnosed, all these things we look at, and each child gets put in a different category and the treatment is very different. So you're exactly right. We tailor treatment to the patient. And the only way that's been done is with clinical trials, large numbers of patients. And those are expensive and require research dollars and funding. And without it, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. It's just not possible.
And making headway, yes, right? I mean, you've been in 17 years, what you said. Yeah.
I mean, to put in perspective, in the 1960s, leukemia in children, ALL in children was universally fatal. And now the vast majority of children are cured. And that's been done because of organizations like the Leukemia Lymphoma Society that you guys are raising money for tonight.
Right.
Without that, we wouldn't be able to say, hey, this is an awful diagnosis, but the chances of cure for your child are really good. And so it's really important that we continue kind of this fight.
Well, you're a hero. Thanks for all that you do. We're going to try to give you as many tools possible in the oncologist kit to help these children, because it's rough on the kid, it's rough on the family. It's it spreads out its tentacles on how many people it affects.
Yeah, so I think your analogy of a toolkit is exactly right, because there are some patients who are harder to cure, or there are the small number where the disease comes back. Even 15 years ago, we didn't have a lot of good things in the toolkit for those kids, but now we do. We have like multiple things in the toolkit, and those kids can still be cured, but we still need to do better. We still need more tools in the kit to kind of get as many kids cured as possible.
And as we said before, every little bit helps. With your $5, it's buying a few Petri dishes or whatever. I mean, it's just every little thing is a difference.
Remember, it's a cumulative thing. So if everybody gives $5, it becomes a lot of money.
Yep.
Don't think of yourself like donating that it's not going to make a difference. It does, especially if everybody collectively kind of helps us out.
And you're in the business another 17 years from now, we'll hopefully be saying, hey, I got that covered. I got that.
Absolutely.
You'll be out of work.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be a general pediatrician. I'll be happy to do it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kaplan. Really appreciate it. From Atrium and dealing with pediatric oncology. I know it's a very tough time some days when you have to have the conversation, but we appreciate everything you do.
No, thank you for having me. And Brandy, good work with everything. Let us know if you need anything.
Same goes with you, Dr. Kaplan. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh man, I'm back already. The doc was great. We are now here with the Girl of the Year. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
That's great. You are the Girl of the Year. That's great. How old are you?
I'm 15 years old. My birthday was 5 days ago.
Oh, how about a present of donations to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society right now for her birthday? What school do you go to?
I go to Independence High School.
Yes, and did you, when you got diagnosed, what you said, I think you said when you were 11, right?
11, 12. I just finished up 6th grade, and it was the summertime.
And so did you have to miss some school then, Talia, or did you?
When I was diagnosed, when the school year came back around, sadly I was told I couldn't go back to school, like under any circumstances, for fear of me getting an infection that my body couldn't fight off while I was trying to fight off the cancer. So I missed school for my entire 7th grade year, and I was able to go back for my 8th grade year.
Talia, you are very strong. Now explain what it was like, because you were 11, so you were able to, some of the people I've talked to were really young when they got diagnosed. You were 11, so you probably totally remember that moment when either your parents or the doctor told you that, and what was it again that your disease was?
I was diagnosed with T-cell lymphoblastic lymphoma.
And when did you learn that? Do you remember where you were, what you were doing?
I had learned about it one day at summer camp, but I had a strange feeling that something was wrong a couple of weeks prior.
Oh, really?
Because the couple weeks prior, I had gotten my tonsils taken out, and because I was having a problem with sleep apnea, I was having a problem with headaches. We had gone to a bunch of different doctors, and we decided to go there. I got that procedure done, and I thought everything was fine, but then I started having these dreams, and just like sitting in the car, I would be thinking, if you could choose one person in your family to have cancer, who would you choose? I thought I was absolutely crazy, because I'm like, why would I start thinking like this?
Yes.
And so I started dreaming about it. I would be just facing all of my family members, and someone behind me would ask, who would you choose to have cancer in your immediate family? And I could never choose anybody. I would always say I'd choose myself if that was the option. And so I asked my mom, I'm having these weird thoughts and dreams. Am I crazy? Am I going crazy? She's like, maybe something happened. So I was in summer camp with some of my friends, and I was sitting at the table, and my parents called me out to the car. First I thought I was in trouble, but then they sat me down in the car, and they were like, Talia, we have to tell you something. So they were both there, and they kind of looked sad, I guess. So I was like, what's wrong? And they told me we had to go to the hospital because I was sick and I had cancer. And I started laughing, I guess, and I told them, and they asked, Talia, are you okay? Why are you laughing?
Yeah.
I said, I'm laughing so I don't start crying. So I was freaked out, I was scared, but in some strange way, I kind of knew something was wrong. I didn't want to be right, but I guess I was.
That's absolutely amazing that in the dream you were saying, I would take the cancer. That's an amazing thought process for a young kid to have to go through. And then talk about the treatments at the beginning, how that went for you.
For the past 2 years, it's actually been hard. It's been hard to remember certain things. I can remember the pain, though. I can remember I lay in the bed with cramps in my legs and I couldn't move, and it felt really bad. I remember being tired all the time. I'd be hungry one second and then I didn't want to eat anything. Close to that, I think first Christmas that I was sick, that first Thanksgiving, I wouldn't eat anything because I kept throwing up my medicine, and I had to go on a feeding tube, and then it got so bad to the point where I had to go to the hospital because I wasn't eating anything and my blood sugar was so high. And we were there for maybe 2 weeks, and I told my mom, I don't want to be here for Thanksgiving. I don't want to have to have my family, all of us, have Thanksgiving here. So luckily, with some help from the nurses and doctors there, I was able to start eating again, and I finally got to go home. And I was really thankful for that, because all of this has been hard on my body and me, but it's also been hard on my family. And I never wanted them to hurt as much as I hurt physically. So,
Talia, that is insane. She's thinking about her family and how they're hurting when she's the one lying with the feeding tube and in pain and has the leukemia. That's why you are Girl of the Year. That's why you're an inspiration to so many people. just those of you out there with teenagers, can you imagine your kid even thinking about you at all? This is amazing. And she's in pain, and she is thinking about her parents. And December, I think we found out some better news.
December 18th of last year, I was officially cancer-free and I was in remission.
Everybody! Yes! After a long, long road. And I'm sure that the help we're getting today is going to help other girls and other kids not have to go through what you went through, because that was not an easy run there for 3 years. And you had to not be able to do some of the things you enjoyed doing because you had to be safe, right? And what did you miss during some of that time?
I didn't get to go to school, and I'm one of those kids who pressures herself more than her parents to get straight A's and nothing less. I get freaked out if I'm even close to a B. And so missing school was hard because I loved it, everything about it. I love my teachers, I love my friends. I love the challenge. I love doing things just in school. I also miss basketball because I really love to play it. My dad played it in college and overseas. My twin brother plays it, and we're all competitive with each other. And I just missed being able to feel normal, like there wasn't something wrong with me.
Wow. Are you starting to get that feeling back?
Yes, I was able to play on my high school JV team this year.
Yeah! Yes.
And despite COVID, I'm still getting A's, and I'm really happy about that. It's been hard, and it's been tiring, and COVID took a lot out of me.
That's an amazing girl right here, an amazing woman who is thinking about getting A's. She's thinking about her parents and the pain that they're going through, and her siblings. So that is just absolutely mind-blowing, and I'm so proud to have Megan. I'm proud of you. I'm sure your parents are amazingly proud of you. I don't think the A's is really their big concern right now. That is not their big concern at all, but they're so proud of how you've gone through this. I can only imagine how they feel. The dad over there, you're doing something right, Papa. You raised a good one here. Had to surprise you sometimes with her reactions, I guess.
Yes, sir.
And the strength is insane, and it is a blessing. A blessing is what you do when you give right now, and it is very simple. The information's right there. Even a little tiny bit, $5, $10, whatever it might be, will help. We're looking to get, have we gotten to 1,000? We're trying to get there. We're probably pretty close to that.
25 to go.
We're all right, keep coming, keep going. Anything you want to say to people to get them to donate?
A lot of medicines for treating cancer aren't for children, so it would be amazing and very fortunate if there was money for research and doctors who could create medicines that wouldn't take such a hard toll on children, because they're young, they're still developing, and having these medicines made for grown-ups on top of having to have cancer in the first place is hard enough.
Wow. Well, why am I even up here? Take it away. I'm gone. Good night, everybody. Yes. So donate right now. I think we have a future doctor, maybe? Is that what we're?
I want to be a pediatric oncologist, so I'm studying hard, and I hope to one day be able to be in the shoes of people who help me.
Gosh, like the most selfless person ever. Thank you. This is absolutely amazing. If you hear that speech and some of the people we've talked to, I don't understand how you would not Venmo your brains out right now. I want to tell you, if you're watching this like on a replay a few weeks from now, you can still Venmo your brains out.
BrandisBelievers.com.
Yes. All this stuff's probably all over here right now. Get over here. Come on, cut up. Wasn't it amazing? Have you heard her speak like this before? It's absolutely stunning, right?
Absolutely. So come back this way.
We're not going to let you go.
I remember, so Talia and Ren were in a fashion show together when they were little, younger a few years ago. And then I also saw your basketball team come and ring the bell with you.
Oh, wow. Team came out? Yeah.
When you rang the bell, they were wearing yellow jerseys. Yeah. I remember seeing that.
That's great. She's amazing.
Pretty incredible. So every time I've heard you speak, I'm just like, everybody needs to hear what you have to say, babe.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
So thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you, thank you,
for
thank you.
having me.
So, and you look beautiful.
Thank you.
So grown up. So thank you.
We want to hit another.
We do, but I do want to talk about some of our community partners who have helped me along the way. Thank you, Talia.
Talia's great.
So,
Talia. So
much. She has another event to go to. She has a very full social calendar. So we are very honored to have had her here today. But we're getting into our second hour, and I really just wanted to talk about some of the community. So we've had Ren's Village. Since Ren was diagnosed, we kind of decided we needed to do something about it, so we formed Ren's Village. We've raised money for a bloodmobile. We have raised over 800 units of blood to be donated, and in all the ways that we could help. Ren's Village will continue until there is no more cancer. So the LLS and the Woman of the Year and this whole campaign is just my way of trying to, let's get rid of cancer so Ren's Village isn't needed anymore. But our village always shows up for us. And we're here in Fort Mill, but Ren's Village extends well into Charlotte for sure. And some of the people, so Orange Theory, I am an Orange Theory addict. I live in the Orange Zone. They have supported us through Ren's Village, and they are supporting us in a huge way with my campaign. So in a few weeks, they're going to be matching donations up to $10,000, which is pretty incredible.
Way incredible.
Jackson Orthodontics is here in Fort Mill. Now, he already has 2 of my kids in braces, and so he just this past week matched all donations up to $10,000, and every person who donated $100 or more were entered to win a free set of braces. So $10,000 plus a free set of braces.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
And Amy O'Toole won those braces. Congratulations, Amy. Early on, I reached out to Diamonds Direct, and here's one of the interesting things is every time I talk to people, everyone has a connection to cancer in some way, and sometimes it really surprises you. So I'd reached out to Diamonds Direct, and the woman who answered the phone's sister was a pediatric cancer survivor. So she was like, take everything I have.
Yes.
So we're going to have a huge auction coming up on June the 5th, which is our grand finale. And there will be some amazing diamond earrings and a men's watch.
There's great stuff.
Next week, though, speaking of matches, AAA Tree Services, just an incredible company. And I know it sounds like, what do trees have to do with pediatric cancer? But one of the owners, Kristen Privet, was very adamant that she wanted to, she's part of Ren's Village, and she wanted to support ending cancer altogether. And she's just an incredible person. And she came last week and took pictures with Ren. She was Mrs. Strawberry the year I did it. Beautiful. And she let Ren borrow her crown, which was pretty special.
Nice.
And we took some great pictures. So next week, starting on Monday, she will be matching donations up to $10,000 all next week.
Ren, come on over again. Come here. We haven't seen you in a while.
She's got her sparkles on.
Yep.
And then, so of course we have the Blanton's Bourbon down here from Southern Spirits. They've been helping me spread the word about the Blanton's collection, which you can get your tickets for the next 30 minutes. If you go to brandisbelievers.com, you can get your own ticket. We will be drawing at 7:30. And also down in Rock Hill. So I am the only candidate in York County, which is kind of an honor for me as well. And Comer Distributing, they have donated beer. They have a fundraiser set up on their Facebook page as well, spreading the word and just getting people to really donate. So that's just a small sampling. I mean, we have people in the neighborhood. There's a woman, Alicia, she's taking pictures of kids and donating all the sitting fees. Like, we are just overwhelmed by the generosity.
My color?
All right, is it time to color yet?
We got some more money coming in?
Let's do it. Okay, so did we get our first 1,000? Are we in?
All the lines with $325 away.
We are $325 away from
1,000.
Our first 1,000.
That's three, yes, we can do it.
Come on.
Fill up the thermometer.
Because we have another match coming up, so let's do it.
Yeah.
I want to tell you guys about it.
Okay.
But right now, I do want to show, so, you know, the LLS, woohoo, go Ren.
Ren, you can add another 100 too,
Yeah.
you know that.
Ooh. Another 100.
Let's do it.
Yes, very nice. Keep them coming, baby. Come on now. Let her color. Bobby, thank you, Bobby.
Ren's wearing it out.
25 from Brianna.
Brianna, thank you for the 25.
50 from Julia.
50 from Julia. Keep it coming in. Every little bit helps, as we said. We get 5 people with $10. Another 50. They'll get us there.
Tag somebody that has $5.
Yes,
and
exactly.
And have them tag someone who has $5.
Yes, just to keep it.
Bitcoin, I told you we're taking it.
We'll
will
take
figure
whatever.
it out, man. We will figure it out. And I know some of the videos are heavy or some of the things, you know, but what I need you to see is that research dollars work, okay? I got to keep my Ren with us. Sometimes research is not here in time, like MIT and AML. So we really have to collect the money. It's up to us, okay? Like the majority of pediatric cancer research is raised privately by people like Matt dancing.
That gets you nothing.
Like we need to keep doing that. So I'm going to show you another story, and it is going to pull at your heartstrings. Like that is what this is the reality of pediatric cancer. It's not always smiling bald kids. There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of grief for even when we get to keep our kids. There's still a lot of grief of things like the life we thought we were going to have. So I'm going to keep sharing those stories and using my voice to get their stories out there because they matter. Their lives matter. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Dwayne.
We're the parents of identical twin girls, Kennedy and Kendall Breifogel. One is a survivor of AML and one passed away from complications of AML. We had them in May of 2015. That June when they came home, we started noticing some spots on their faces and on their heads and on their bodies. We ended up getting them biopsied in August of that year, and 2 days later we had the preliminary results that it was AML, and they were 3 months old at the time. The twins went through 4 rounds of chemotherapy. I remember one question I asked one of our doctors in treatment was, you know, what are the chances of this drug working? And he just said to us, I don't like to give percentages or chances or odds because either it works or it doesn't.
Come on, Kendall.
We were released in remission and off treatment, enjoyed a year at home together, and then February 2017, we found out Kendall had relapsed. Her cancer was coming back faster than anything else, and she died September 7th, 2017. Obviously, one of our questions is why did it work for one and not the other when they're the same? That's one of the reasons we keep fundraising, because Kennedy's not safe, other kids aren't safe, and we need to have those answers.
You have almost this relief that at least she's not suffering, you know, you're not suffering for her, you know, all these things. But we live in the unfortunate situation that it could all happen again.
You're walking.
Leukemia Lymphoma Society's motto right now is beating cancer is in our blood, and I truly believe that and I feel that, so that's why we just keep fighting. I want to make sure no other family has to experience what we've experienced, and I always say that ours is a little bit of a unique hell because we have one child who's still being threatened every day by the possibility of relapsing. My hope would be to see more precision medicine. One of the big reasons we're really behind LLS right now is they're launching the Children's Initiative. It's hard for us watching all these treatments be developed for adults, but nothing specific for children.
Good job, Kendall May. You're cruising, lady.
The more you learn about it, the more you realize how many people are actually affected by this. And it's a lot higher than you would think.
Now is the time. With the Children's Initiative, our children are our future, and so making better treatments for them, making cancer more beatable for them, more sustainable after they've beat it, making life easier, you know, this is the time to get involved.
Fix your pony because it's blowing out.
Family is just about spending time and being with the people you most want to be with.
We've tried to put a more importance on doing things together.
Making memories, I think, is a big thing.
We just put you up here? That'd be silly.
So we're back with my friend, Allie Davis. So I heard about her a little bit when Ren was diagnosed in 2016 because their family has a pretty incredible story. Her dad, Preston, who is really one of my favorite people, he is hilarious, and we have the same sense of humor, which is scary. He was diagnosed with lymphoma in 2015, and then in April 2015?
It was
2014 to 2015.
Yeah.
My brain is a little messed up. So in 2015, her dad beat lymphoma. Woohoo! 2015 was all right. But come 2016, enters Allie.
Yep. So I was 11 years old. I was just an active girl. I played many sports. Probably if you named it, I probably somehow played it. And it was crazy because I was having night sweats, uncontrolled weight loss to where you could see every bone in my body. And my parents, they were like, maybe it's just because, you know, she's very active and maybe she needs to eat more. So we went with that method. I would eat more calories each day nothing helped. I still had the night sweats, very severe night sweats. And I had no energy. I was pale. I was just meh. Well, then my parents were like, okay, this is kind of weird. So I went to my yearly checkup, and my doctor was like, okay, we'll just, increase her iron, have her eat more like red meat, spinach and stuff like that. We'll give her maybe a supplement and come back see us maybe in a month. And so we did all that, everything like that, and I got to the point where I didn't need to rely on a sweatshirt because I wore a sweatshirt every time of the year, summer sweatshirt. I was just extremely cold. And so whenever I didn't have to wear it, I was like, okay, maybe I just needed some more iron. So we went back and my iron was still low. It was down to the 7.6-ish. And that is very, very low for a girl my age. And so they got me in contact with Dr. Henson, one of my
hematology and oncologist at Levine Children's.
Yeah, she is amazing. There's not words to describe how great she is.
And she's very sprightly.
Yes.
She's probably up to your shoulder, maybe. She's very short.
Well, maybe when I don't have my heels on.
Yeah.
So, they sent us there. She said, okay, we're going to get some blood work and a chest x-ray. And just as we were about to enter the car, my hand was on the doorknob. And my parents got a phone call. She said, we have your results. We need you to come back up to the office now. And I could hear it because my parents have their phones really loud, and so I just heard it. It's like, oh crap, what's going on? Because an 11-year-old girl, you don't think of, oh, could it be cancer? Because I didn't even know what the word was at that time. So I'm over here, I'm already breaking down, my hands are shaking and everything because I was fearing the worst. And we got up to the office, and she sat me down, where you have like the little exam table and stuff like that. I sat there, and I looked at the x-ray, and there was just like a big, giant mass about the size of a newborn baby's head. Wow. And I said, that is not normal. And so just before she just started getting words out, my mind just went blank. I just had like that dead stare into like who knows where. Right. Because it's like, this can't be happening. Like, am I dreaming? Like, if I pinch myself, will I wake up? And she said to my parents, there is a chance that she has cancer, but we can't confirm that until she goes to Levine's, get a bone marrow sample and stuff like that. So we needed to go there now. And so my mom took me to the hospital. Dad went home, got the bag, met us at the hospital, and by then I'm just breaking down. I didn't want to see anybody. I'm just in a ball. And so it was a week-long process. They had me do different tests. They had an echo, bone marrow test, everything like that. And then on the Friday of that week, they came to the room. They said, she has stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. We're going to prep her for surgery. She's getting a port. We're starting chemo immediately. Quick. Yes, and an 11-year-old girl, you're like, what? Like, you don't know what to say. All you hear is like the Charlie Brown, like, rah, 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 because
I know.
You don't hear anything. All you see is like everyone just coming at you with needles and everything. It's like,
you grew up quick.
Very much so. I had to miss out on a lot of teenage years. I had to do homeschool, and that was not really my best friend because you don't really have that interaction with the teachers and students, so my grades went downhill, and that really upsetted me because I was always an honor student.
And you were 11 to what age?
I actually spent my 12th birthday in the clinic getting active chemo. So I was in remission whenever I turned 12, a little after I turned 12. And so I went through about 5 months of chemo, 2-3 weeks of radiation, and I would actually go to school during radiation because they said I was able to. I just had to wear a mask. And so I'd go there early in the morning, around 7:30 in the morning, get my x-ray done, radiation, anything that they needed done, and then I'd go straight to school.
Wow. Middle school. You're in middle school at that point.
Yes, ma'am. I just started my 7th grade year. And it was weird because everyone's just complaining and stuff. They're like, I can't wake up this early. And I'm just looking at them like, I'm over here waking up at like 5 in the morning to go get active radiation. They come to school.
Yeah, right. You guys can handle just getting up and getting on the bus, right? Like,
yes, very much.
And that was like, what, 2016 or so-ish, 7th? Mom, was she?
It was the end of 2016,
yeah.
Starting 2017. And then I rang the bell. I was in remission. I thought, everything was good.
You were Girl of the Year, just like Talia. So she was Girl of the Year in 2017, which I think is how I probably came in contact with you. And then
Yes, so I've been involved with LLS for many years now.
Raised a bunch of money.
Yes, and
it's called Allie's Team Allie.
Yes, ma'am.
Team Allie's pretty.
Foundation.
It's huge.
I actually had a brainstorming while I was getting active chemo because I met many little kids younger than me, around the age of maybe newborns to 5 years old, and they wouldn't really have as many gifts as I would because I've had a support team since day one, and I took it upon myself. It's like I don't know, but I don't think I could use this. I'd actually bring giant gift bags to the clinic, and I'd give one to each family there because those kids, they don't understand what's going on. With me being a little older, it's like, okay, it's gonna be scary, but just a little poke, everything's good. But these kids, they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, you know what, if they get a distraction, maybe give us a few tips. And it actually really helped ease the minds of both the kids and the parents, and that just brought joy to my day. Yeah. It didn't have to be gift bags, it didn't have to be anything. I just wanted to see smiles on those little kids' face.
You're so amazing.
I was never selfish. I never thought about why me. It's like, I always thought, why them?
Yeah.
And even though my father didn't like it, I said, if it meant for them to live longer on this earth and have maybe a little happier life, I'd take their round. Because you don't want to see your little kid go through cancer. And my parents, they told me, it's like, why her, why not me? I'm like, I got this, just let me do this. And so when it came to remission and Ellis reached out to me, I said, shoot, yeah, I will.
Yeah. And then she was like beautiful girl of the year, like doing what Talia does, go around, tell your story and that sort of thing. And that was 2017.
Yes.
And then 2018 happened.
Yes, that was actually when the Team Allie Foundation started getting on a roll. We started doing like t-shirts and stuff like that. We'd sell them and stuff. And
huge concert.
Yes, the Stand Together music festivals we'd have every year. It was a really great thing that we did every year. We got involved with the community and everything. It was great.
Taking something terrible and doing something good with it. And
yes.
Yeah, this concert's huge. Like, I don't know, thousands of people come to your concert and see it. So incredible.
Yes, and then so everything was going good. I was finishing up middle school. I was going off to early college, starting my freshman year. Everything was good. Raising money, being very involved with LLS.
Making A's.
A's and B's.
A's.
It's close enough. So, and then I was actually nominated for the 2019 Student of the Year campaign.
So Student of the Year is like Man and Woman of the Year, but it's students who are doing exactly what we're doing, which is incredible if you ever get to see them. But you had a goal, which I have completely forgotten, but she was doing what I was doing to raise how much money?
I think in the end I raised around $35,000 on my own, along with my community, but I didn't really have anyone else on my team.
But while you were a Student of the Year,
yes, my cancer decided to come back and relapse. So it was the first week into my campaign. It was my second semester in early college. I know I was very occupied with school and my campaign planning and stuff like that. And then cancer just came back and just hit us all with a curveball. So it came back. I didn't know about it because, I didn't show symptoms like last time. I didn't have the night sweats, the weight loss, nothing like that. The only thing I really had was the nagging cough that I'd have every night. Like during the day it'd be fine, but as soon as I laid down, I just had that cough. So I'm like, you know what, it's seasonal allergies, because it was, the fall, winter time. I'm like, you know what, it's just seasonal allergies. I'll just take some Claritin, maybe it'll go away. Yeah, that happened for about a month. It didn't go away. And my parents are like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, it's allergies, because I'm in the back of my mind, it's like, is it back? Like, what's going on? And then my fear came true. It relapsed. I believe it was like sometime in February that it relapsed. It was the first weekend of my campaign. My parents actually told me, you can take a break. You don't have to run. I told my parents, as I'm sitting in the hospital bed, I said, I've never quit anything before in my life. I'm not going to quit this. I'm going to fight this, but also do my campaign. And
make straight A's.
A's and B's.
And she did it. Like, she really did it. I remember you going, they were trying to get you out of the hospital to make it to the finale, the grand finale, and you didn't have any hair.
Yeah, well, I had hair at the time. I was on the verge of shaving it off.
Yeah.
Because I told my dad ever since my first round, I said, because I was a girl, I thought girls had to have hair, but society.
I'm all about not having hair, so we'll shave it together.
Yeah. And then my father, he was actually watching the baseball game. I came up to him, I said, I want to shave my hair. And he's like, sweetie, remember whenever I didn't have hair, I'm like, "But Dad, you're a guy. You don't have to have hair." And he's like, "Hair doesn't define who you are. It's the person you are inside." And that made me change my whole demeanor. I shaved my hair the first time before I lost it, and then the second round I shaved it again. And it was just that it's never stopped me. And even the kids I interact with today, they don't want to shave their hair. I'm like, if you don't shave your hair, that's okay, but hair doesn't define who you are. You might think it does, but it's just a characteristic of everybody. The real person is inside you.
It's just hair, right? That's what I always tell Ren. It's just hair.
It'll grow back eventually.
Yeah, it will eventually. So you, Student of the Year, raised $35,000.
And actually that money, the money that you guys are actually raising now, helped fund 2 chemotherapy drugs that actually saved my life in the second round of cancer. So right now I'm standing here today because of your guys' donations.
The best. So like, clip notes, she raised money for the LLS, a drug that they funded that was then used to save her life. And you're 17 now?
I will be turning 17 next week.
So I knew it was close. And you're Air Reserve National Guard? Say it right for me.
Civil Air Patrol.
I knew it was something like that. So she's in a uniform and she's like getting like promoted like every 2 weeks. Her dad's posting like, well, she did it again. She did it again. She has all these promotions. And now she's like, I don't know, Admiral Captain of the Air Squad. I don't know.
Not yet.
What's your official title?
Right now I am a technical sergeant.
It's so cute. Her uniform, her outfit as I call it, is so cute. And she's doing amazing things. And you're in senior year? Or you already?
Yes, I am now. I just finished my junior year a few weeks ago, so now I'm going into my senior year, and then it's college application time.
Woohoo!
And
Clemson?
No.
So close. Come on, Suzanne. Clemson. Where do you want to go? Do you know?
I want to go to the Air Force Academy. I'll apply for the Air Force Academy, West Point, Charlotte, and Chapel Hill.
That's amazing. You got this, girl.
I don't know why my variety of college applications, but I was officially announced in remission, really almost 2 years ago, because I actually did a stem cell transplant. Like she described before, it's whenever you go through hardcore chemotherapy, and instead of getting someone else's stem cells, I was actually able to donate mine, have them hold it for a little bit, and then receive them back. And so, in the end, I gave my stem cells that in the end saved my life, along with the chemotherapy that you guys funded.
That's amazing. Did they call that CAR T when it's your own cells? I wasn't sure if they called it CAR T or no. It was just a stem cell transplant. We'll put a pin in that. We'll Google it. We'll put a pin in that. Matt wants to come back in and get in on the action now.
Well, just because we're so close. What, $75 somebody just heard?
Oh, we just got a $250 from Alex. He loved your story.
Alex, you did it. You got $250 from Alex. So
75 more.
$75 we want right now.
Thanks, Alex.
10, 7 people and a half. Give it $10.
Some amount of money.
We can do it. You helped. Good job. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Allie. Thank you for coming. Thanks for bringing her, Suzanne. Preston, I hope you're watching from work, man. We adore her. Thank you for getting her here. So glad you're okay. Give us some love. Thank you.
$75 more dollars. I'm thinking it's going to come right now.
Right now.
Yes. $75. All right, we are.
Well, because here's another thing that we got. Okay, so Pleasant Mill Pediatric Dentistry. That's Dr. Stephanie and Dr. Katie right here in Fort Mill. Everybody loves them, and everybody loved them so much, and they are best friends. They decided to come together and form a new pediatric dentistry, Pleasant Mill Dentistry, and they are offering $5,000 tonight. So $5,000. They are going to.
Dr. Katie's my daughter's dentist.
Dr. Stephanie is my daughter's
there you go. We got them covered.
She has been amazing. So Dr. Stephanie is her dentist, and Dr. Alfred Jackson, her husband, is our orthodontist. So
you got it covered. There you go.
But so she is matching. Dr. Katie's and Dr. Stephanie are matching up to $5,000. So like, don't let me leave this money on the table.
Yes,
you guys bring it. Tag your grandma, tag your aunts and uncles, high school biology teacher, anybody
anywhere.
Really.
Spread the word.
Call the teeter. Ask somebody there to donate. Just anybody, anywhere, do it. So we have some more, hold that thought because I want to show you one more of our little community sponsors, and I left it over here.
Dun, 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 dun. Here she comes.
Okay. I actually have 2. Okay.
Whoa.
But so more people in our community. Boykin Property Group, everybody knows.
Agent George.
Everybody loves the Boykins. So they have done, I'm telling you, they never say no, okay?
No.
Like never. So with Wren's Village, they've donated barbecues, they've hosted fundraisers, they've sponsored us. They're sponsoring a community barbecue here in Baxter this weekend where you go around, it's almost like a bar crawl, but it's food, and you go around and taste at all the different addresses. And they are matching $1,000 to the charity. So each person who's cooking is cooking for a charity. So I have these awesome people who are cooking for my campaign, and whoever wins, they're giving $1,000. But they've also donated a lot to my campaign as well. And George has some eggs. He has chickens. And he's selling eggs. This is so random.
Yes, really.
Stay with me here.
Yeah, that was like trying to follow that. George has some eggs.
They're called the War Boy eggs, right?
Okay.
I'm not making this up. I can't make this up.
Are you delirious?
Yes. Okay. So this month they're selling fresh eggs, and they're giving me all the proceeds and matching it. So like, let's say I think they made like $200 before, and they're going to match it and give it to my campaign. I mean, they're just amazing people.
They are very, very amazing
eggs.
people.
It's random, but they're delicious. I have 2 dozen in my home. I have to talk about Selena at the fish market and the Claiborne House. They have donated food. They have donated space. She lost her aunt. So I told you, everyone has like a connection. So she lost her Aunt Ruthie, who was dear to her, to leukemia. So when I came and told her, I was like, I'm a candidate for Woman of the Year. She's like, what do you need? Period.
Yep.
What do you need? Or question mark, actually. It was a question. So, but every time, everything we've done, like she's hosted events for us, she's donated food, like incredible. So, and also the food's really good. Legacy Health and Wellness, I'm a nurse there, so they donated a lot of raffle items early on. It's just, I'm covered by Amore Artists. I could go on and on about Amore Artists. So Amore Artists is our brewery here in Fort Mill. They have supported, they're so good, cruising. And they've supported Wren's Village like multiple times a year since it started. And this year they hosted a 4x4x48. This is where these crazy people run 4 miles every 4 hours for 48 hours straight. Or 24 hours straight. We had 2 different ones. And so they raised over $6,000 for my campaign. And they've donated beer. And they're just good people. And they keep giving me bottles of bourbon, which are right here.
That's a different kind of 4x4 that will be
they gave me this,
drinking.
which will be one of our silent auction items. We're going to be doing a bourbon flight. But this is a good one. This is Elmer T. Lee. A lot of people love that stuff. So I just can't even. And so we have a package from the Knights. So you get 4 box seats at a Knights game with a buffet and bar.
Nice,
So
nice.
people,
And it's going to be, they're back to having people in. So it's probably been getting a game for over a year now because of all this.
I'm pretty excited. And then down here we have some art from Allison.
She just donated $100.
Allison,
$100 and the art.
No, this is much more than $100.
Yes, I know, but it and the
so
art.
she creates these incredible pieces of art.
That is crazy.
We are going to be auctioning off. And there's a story I could tell you about how she came up with this, and it's a story of Wren and her cancer and how she fought and the beauty from her cancer. And she left me a voicemail, and I saved it forever and ever, and it makes me cry. But she made this for us and is donating it, so we're going to be silent auctioning that as well. So don't forget about your Blantons. Ooh, we have to draw soon. Oh, sorry. She told me, don't forget, they're matching coasters. She makes these.
Yes, those are very cool.
You can outfit your entire home.
I know.
So we are going to take a quick break because we are going to, Matt, you interviewed the Kaiser family today.
Yes.
So Devin and, so Mom Allison is a good friend of mine. Devin is her warrior battling right now. And so Matt got their story. When I get back, we're going to do the Blanton's bourbon. Okay? So we're going to find out who wins the Blanton's bourbon collection.
You will hear this story and you will open up your Venmo.
I mean, your whole bank account.
Yes. So
get out your piggy
watch
bank.
this and donate.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Hello, Allison, Devin. I think Mike's in the room somewhere. Your husband. Thanks for joining us. It really means a lot to help spread the word and to help people fully understand, because I'm sure you and everyone else that's in this situation never thought you'd be in this situation, and it probably never chattered about it with anyone, never talked about it. So, and I'm guessing that's the case. You had no experience with pediatric lymphoma, leukemia, anything like that?
Correct. Yeah. We didn't know anybody prior to his diagnosis. So we were definitely thrown into this, and our world was flipped upside down in 2016 when we received the diagnosis.
How old was Devin at the time?
How old are you, Devin? When you first were diagnosed?
You remember? That's right.
How old? 4. So if I'm doing the math right, you're 8 or 9 now, I guess, right around there. Yeah, 8.
9.
9. Okay. Yeah. I knew I couldn't do the math that quickly in my head. And Devin, do you remember that day when you were 4? You don't remember that day? I'm sure mom and dad do. Where were you? Who got? Was it a call? Was it in the doctor's office? What happened, Allison?
Devin, in June 2016, Devin was having high fevers, a lot of leg pain, and we kept going to his pediatrician and down to Levine and Children's Hospital, and they at that point thought it was a virus. And then eventually his platelets took a nosedive, and they said something's going on. And so that June, they did a bunch of tests, and that June 23rd, we were in the hospital, and they came and told us that he had acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
And obviously those words were drowned out by all the noise of, oh my God, what is happening here? So can you explain what that causes or what it does to a kid, that sort of thing?
That is a blood cancer. So it's, he had at that point some cancer in his bone marrow. It wasn't in his spinal fluid at that point. It was only his bone marrow. And they put him immediately the day after he started chemotherapy, and he started getting spinal taps and taking chemotherapy through he got a port put in. And so he was getting chemotherapy intrathecal and then taking a lot of pills. So it was a lot for him.
Yeah. Do you
became a champ with taking pills, right, Devin?
The pills aren't such a great thing, considering all the stuff you went through. So when they told you this and discussed it with you and you had to go for treatment, when you don't remember being 4 when it happened. So then when did you start realizing that you were going to be spending some time in the hospital and you're going to be going through all these procedures? Was it scary?
No.
Because everybody tells me how brave you are. And so I know you didn't show it, you didn't complain, but can you explain one of the procedures or some things that I know they had to have done to you to help you out? What were some of the, was there any bad ones that you were like, I do not like this?
Yeah, there were some where I did not like it.
How many days, and I know that it's hard to add them all up totally because there's been relapses and such, but this recent stay that you're in right now, how long have you been there, Allison?
How long has he been in the hospital?
Yes, how long has he been in the hospital? Yeah.
What day is it, Mike? For after?
36.
So he's been in there 47 days.
Whoa, that's a long. Is this one of the longer stays you've had?
November and December he was there for, what was that, Mike? 7 weeks. So this is.
So we're talking about a couple months,
Yeah,
or a month and a half or whatever with some of these stays. So has he?
January, February, he was there for 2 months.
Yeah.
So has Devin gone to school at all? I mean, a lot of people haven't with virtual, but even when, let's see, when he was diagnosed at 4, so did he go to kindergarten, first grade, all that?
He went to kindergarten. He was put into, he went to maintenance. So he had 4 years old. He had rigorous chemo to get him into maintenance, into remission. And then he was maintaining that through frequent visits to the clinic and chemo pills. So he was able to go to school for kindergarten. And then in first grade, that he was supposed to be done with treatment in August 2019. But in March 2019, he relapsed and they found cancer cells in his bone marrow. No, sorry, his spinal fluid this time. So because of that, he needed some brain radiation in 2020. And he was put on a lot of more chemo. So he missed a lot of first grade, but the teachers were amazing. And he did FaceTime with them at that point. It was, before the pandemic, so we didn't know about Zoom.
Yeah. I mean, Mike, can you even describe what it feels like? Because I know that when my kid is sick, that's not sick like this, I feel such like anger and helplessness and all that stuff. So I can't even imagine what it's like to have a child with cancer. Is there any way you can put into words the feelings that you've gone through?
It's difficult, right? I mean, your circle of control with something like this is so small, and you really got to trust the medicine and trust what your doctor's plans are and that sort of thing. And that's what we do. And over the past 5 years, we've had the wind knocked out of our sails a few times, and it's always tough, because you're trying real hard. And this kid is such a hero. He goes through, I think Allison tabulated some of this stuff once, just the number of things he goes through and the amount of pills he takes and school he misses and all this, sacrifice that he's made the last 5 years. It can feel really heavy. And it's tough, especially, to have it happen 2 times. It's tough. So all the things that you would feel, anger, frustration, a sense of, trying to stay hopeful, all that kind of stuff. It's a part of it. So absolutely, it has not been easy. But that said, you go through it, and then you find your resolve, and you work with these excellent people, and you find what needs to happen next, come up with that plan, and you go for it. So, we're doing whatever it takes, and this guy's leading the way.
The research and the money that we're raising right now is really going to help, because the amount of money that's invested in pediatric cancers is not nearly what it should be, what it could be. The medication, as you talked about, because of the lack of research funds, I'm guessing they're kind of spitballing sometimes and making up, the combination, what combination is going to work, because it hasn't been as a study as some other cancers have and whatnot. Is that, am I getting that right, Mike? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, you're right on it, really. I mean, this is, it's rare, but not rare enough. So, the strategy is to rely on the statistics, the studies, what has worked well based on the type of cancer that a kid has, and, their age, and some, as many other factors as they can analyze. But when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, not one single case is alike another one. That's what we have learned throughout this 5-year journey, is this thing is different for every single patient. And until our medicine gets to the point where it can quickly get tailored to who has the cancer, and I mean tailored way beyond, what we're able to do right now, you're left with these same strategies of, well, let's just bombard their system as hard as we can, and hopefully it'll forget that it's confused about what cancer is, or, let's wipe everything out and provide another immune system through a transplant. The medicine's got a long way to go, and it takes research to get it there. I mean, that's where this funding comes in, so important. And we talked about immunotherapy. That's something that's played out in the last few years, and that's a great advancement, because, we're starting to get toward that. With immunotherapy, we're using the patient's own immune system, and training it how to recognize the cancer that they have and go and fight it effectively. And it's a bummer it didn't work out for Devin, but that's the kind of stuff that we need, because it is so different. Everybody's body is so different with what it's gonna require to get beyond what they've got. And we're only going to get there through more research. So
well, hopefully you'll donate, everybody. Devin, what are you going to do when you get out of the hospital? What's the plan? What's the one thing you want to do when you get out? Is there a big meal you want to go? A restaurant you want to go to? A game you want to go to?
You could do once you get out of here. What is it?
Pick on your sisters?
Go to Harry Potter World.
Harry Potter World.
Yeah.
You a big Harry Potter fan, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which house are you in? Did you do one of those little tests on the computer?
I'm in the Hufflepuff house.
The Hufflepuff house. All right. Well, hopefully, there's a Dr. Harry Potter somewhere who can make a magic wand and make some great medicine for you, get you better and get you out of there. All right, guys. Devin, we're all so proud of how tough you are. I can't even imagine. I can't. And Mom and Dad, geez, God bless you. It is, it's tough on everybody in the family, and taking time to talk to us is really cool, Devin, because you're going to help some other kids because of this conversation. So thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys.
We'll start from the top. We'll just
Right.
we'll just reiterate all the things.
Right? That's
right.
what we're doing right now.
We're gonna
She was making a
repeat.
plan now, but she doesn't even know
I was
what's
like,
happening.
maybe we'll just repeat, but we do have to say, here, Matt, pick that up. It's heavy, but don't drop it because it's.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of pressure.
Don't drop it.
Oh.
Because I'm gonna tell you who's
Did you
gonna
get scared?
Let me tell you who's gonna be upset if you drop it. Ben Mason.
Ben Mason.
You are the owner of a Blanton's
That's really cool. Little
collection.
horse on there and stuff.
Thank you, Southern Spirits, for giving us this, for all the money that we've raised. We've raised probably over $7,000.
Wow. Wow. For this.
With your chance to win here with Blanton.
And Ben, the invite can go to Matt Harris' Facebook page. Thank you very much.
Ben Mason.
We put this over
Congratulations, Ben.
here. We've got some more to go. Yes, I was hoping you would bring this in.
We just got a $1,000 donation.
No
$1,000. Yes. Emily.
Thank you, Emily.
Emily.
Okay,
Emily.
so Emily, you donated $1,000. It's matched. That's $2,000.
That's $2,000.
Right there.
Yes, that is
So,
amazing. Because we got the matches going on.
Can we?
Can you believe that? That is amazing.
We're gonna have to get Ren some more markers.
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
Ren is going to have to go out and purchase some new red markers.
Rennie, just do a big old.
This thermometer that they put all the time and money behind. They're going to have to build a new one.
You can do it, Ren. You
So
can
keep
do it.
donating. There's a lot of matches going on. Even a little tiny bit helps, as we've talked about before. A big lot of bit helps them even more. But as we've said throughout this little Facebook telethon, virtual telethon, we want to call it, the way that it is funded, the childhood cancers, the lymphoma and leukemia, it is not nearly what many of the other cancers get and what other diseases get. So it all comes from donations like this.
Yeah.
It's only, what, 4% or something
4%
nationally?
on a federal level.
Federal level, yeah.
We've all been impacted by cancer. Both of my grandfathers passed away from cancer. My dad is a survivor. We've had so many people in our family be impacted. It's not that adult cancers need less, but our children deserve more. We need urgency for our children. I was just living my life normal. I had 3 children. I had no idea this would ever impact me. And it was kind of like, I gave to St. Jude's commercials. Like, I cried. I shared sad stories. Literally, it was May before Ren was diagnosed. I shared a Facebook story of a girl from Sloan Kettering, and I was like, I cannot imagine my child coming home with a headache and it turning out to be a brain tumor. So she had like an ear infection. She had ear pain, and it turned out to be a tumor behind her ear. And our life was forever changed, but I knew that I could do something about it. Like when I started learning the statistics, so the Woman of the Year is just a platform, and Ren's cancer was a blood cancer, and she had what they call CNS involvement because she had tumors in her skull. But this is for all pediatric cancers. I firmly believe that if we can fund a cure for one cancer, we will fund a cure for all cancers, for children and adults. But we got to start somewhere, and it's time we start saving our children.
The crazy thing is how close a lot of these are. After talking to the doctor earlier, like so many things are like ready to go.
The science
but
is
the
there.
money to do the trials. So when you're giving, some of the things you're going to be giving for and some things that are going to happen are not going to be 20 years down the road. Some of these things are going to happen 2 years down the road, a year down the road, 3 years down the road. So that is what's amazing about this. This is going to impact your life perhaps in some way.
Somebody you love,
and, yes,
for sure.
Yes.
Like, if someone had not done what I'm doing 10 years ago, we wouldn't have the research and we wouldn't have the drugs that we have now.
Yeah.
There's a woman on our team who was diagnosed with breast cancer. The treatments of her breast cancer gave her leukemia. So she is now in treatment for leukemia, and her dear sister is a good friend of mine, and told me, like, in December they were basically saying, we're just going to kind of keep her comfortable, but they tried an experimental drug. It was developed by the LLS.
Yes.
And she has now had quality months, and is continuing to thrive right now.
So
I think that's pretty powerful.
It is.
It can. Yes, my platform is children because that's what happened to me, but
Yeah,
it's
guys.
all
Yep.
cancers.
Yep.
We just interrupted broadcast and we don't know why. Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Stand there and look pretty and
I would look pretty.
I don't think anyone can hear you. Is it
Oh.
time? It's getting interrupted by.
We had a technical difficulty. I think I just overloaded it.
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah, yeah.
Did I break the Matt?
We broke it.
Did we break the internet, y'all?
We broke it.
It got to 2 hours. I think Facebook may have.
They might have just
Yeah, they might have.
shut you down.
All right, let's do another quick one. New live video.
It's done. I got you live over here. They won't.
I know.
We said, like, we're running late. They're gonna they brought the cane out to take us off the stage.
I'm not a Kardashian, but I did break the internet today. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks. So wherever we
keep
are, are we
doing it.
somewhere?
Is it?
We don't know if we are talking to you right now or not. We are over there.
Okay.
Okay, so donate. There you go.
BrandisBelievers.com. We're going to have silent auction coming up. Life happens. We were supposed to have them uploaded tonight. It might be tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, but there are some amazing silent auction items at BrandisBelievers.com. You're going to be able to bid on them. It's going to go on for a week. I've got June 5th is also my birthday, in case you needed another. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the other camera. It is on June 5th is my birthday, so come on.
Yeah,
if you need and all of these children's stories and these powerful girls talking about their story is not enough. How about my birthday?
Yeah, that'll push them over the edge right there.
Listen, you know what I'm going to tell everybody about today? I broke the internet.
Yes,
today
you did.
is the day that we broke Facebook.
But we are back, and keep the donations coming. And
100 from Mary and 100 from Linda.
Mary, Linda.
I have a cousin named Mary Linda. Okay,
Yeah.
did you see text to donate? Look at these beautiful things that Dwayne made for us.
Dwayne's the man.
We do have a text to donate.
Yes.
I mean, if you want to use some
Oh
technology.
yeah, text to donate. There you go. It's running. Do it.
And can we look at our professionals over here working so hard?
Oh, look at them. Oh, they're professional. Yeah, good thing.
And can we look at our friends over here who are videoing and keeping
Right.
update? There's Shelly behind us. These are my people. These are my ladies, my friends that keep us going. My husband was here for a minute, but now he's gone. But he brought food, so yay.
Here's your food. I gotta go. I hear you yapping all the time. I don't need any more of you.
I think we've pretty much covered everything, and I hope that hopefully you can open up your wallet and donate. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed Matt's dancing. I know I did.
I don't know. I'm just a crazy person, but that's good.
I like it. And so we're going to just keep sharing this. So maybe you don't see it live. That's fine. Keep sharing it. Oh,
There he is. There's your husband.
So, I will say a personal story because this is our story, right? Ren was 3 years old when she was diagnosed. I had just found out I was pregnant with our surprise fourth, which we were still reeling from the thought of having to drive a minivan. It's like, how am I going to do this? And then our daughter was diagnosed with cancer. And, your perspective on everything changes, right? And it wasn't easy, but we knew that we were in a better position than a lot of people. There were plenty of people who were battling cancer in life. So we were able, because of our network and because of our community, to really be able to give back. So this is us reconciling what happened to our little girl. I'm giving it everything I got.
You're doing great.
And I'll keep doing it until
You're
there is
doing
no more
great.
cancer. And that's just...
A lot of inspiration today.
We have something.
We got one, $250 from the American Red Cross of the Greater Carolina.
Oh, thank you, Red Cross.
Yes.
Okay, well, let me tell you why that's special. Because Ren had 17 blood transfusions her first year of treatment. Getting back to all these adult drugs that they give kids. So it's basically a roller coaster, giving them enough chemo to kill the cancer but not kill the kid. But we have to keep giving them blood, and sometimes multiple blood transfusions in a week. So my connection with the Red Cross is because of that. Last year we were able to raise, with community partners, money for a brand new blood mobile for the Fort Mill and Charlotte area.
Fantastic.
It's going to have Ren's picture on the side.
Wow, great. Very
So
good.
I love my Red Cross people, and it's also kind of a testament about collaboration. So
Yes.
it's going to take moms to fix this. That's what I always say. But so the Red Cross is supporting me. The Isabella Santos Foundation has supported me, and they're incredible. And they're for rare and solid tumors. And they've given so much to Levine. Claire's Army, which took care of Ren, they have supported me as well, because there's no competition in cancer, right? It's going to take all of us collaborating and coming together to end this. And I keep saying it takes mamas to fix it. So let's do it.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys.
Thanks a lot.
I have one more thing. We're going to end with a video that the Levine Children's Foundation did of Ren for a gala that they were doing. And just listen to the words, and the ending is everything. And I hope that every child who has cancer gets to ring the bell, and or that there is no more cancer and there's no more bells to ring.
There you go.
Thank you, Matt, for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Donate. BrandisBelievers.com. Thank you so much.
When the world sings a song that you don't want to hear, and the days and the nights seem to disappear, what do you think of to get you through? Is all hope lost for something new? There's an all points bulletin for those who care, who wish to help the world repair. Brothers and sisters from sea to land, all hoping to join the healing hand.
Ring the bell 3 times well. It's told to clearly say, my treatment's done, this course is run, and I am on my way.